friends and family. I'm caught in the chicken wire to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. So y'all, I hope y'all are doing well with the haze and the smoke from the Canadian fires. Those folks are certainly in my thoughts and prayers. It's actually looks like it's moved east of us. It was very hazy this morning. You can still see some of the haze, but I'm not having a tremendous amount of respiratory difficulty because of it. Ooh, forgot that was in my pocket. You know you're a homesteader if. I've actually gone to the store with one of these in my pocket. So today, excuse me for being out of frame, I have harvested what is left of my icicle radishes. I have had so many great eatings of these, and they are small. However, they are supposed to be small, and these are icicle radishes. I just got yesterday some of the globe radishes that will get larger, so I'm going to plant those today, but I need to come out here and deal with my turnips. So let's put the egg in the basket. Okay, instead of the pocket, right? So how are your gardens doing? You know, y'all, I water faithfully every single day, and I can't wait to get my water bill, just saying. But I think there is something to be said, and y'all, I have chicken wire over a lot of my beds just to keep the girly girls out. Water out of the hose is not the same as rainwater, and my rain barrel, it only holds 50 gallons. That doesn't begin to do much. So I thought today I would go ahead and let me push you down. As you see, a lot of my turnips have gone to flower, and from my reading I understand that this can make them a little bit bitter. So what I'm also seeing is a lot of them are growing up out of the surface. Like this one was like barely even in the dirt, and we'll wash these really well. But most of the turnip is above the dirt, so it doesn't mean they're not edible, but it may mean that, ooh, there's a nice one. These are not huge turnips. If y'all remember, you see I have some that just didn't turnip. I planted the Nagasaki turnips, and they're just not a humongous turnip in general. So yeah, I've got some really, really little ones, but I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna see what I can harvest, and then here, you know, right in front of me, you can't see it well, are the Kyoto red carrots. But y'all, they seem like they're doing well. I'm gonna leave them, even though it said they didn't do well in hot weather. We're gonna find out. I may not get any carrots from that. So let me get busy. I'm gonna speed myself up here and get this harvested. And I wanna talk a little bit about what I'm going to put in its place. We're also gonna take a look at the cabbage and the broccoli. So this is sort of a June garden tour, if you will. Ugh. Excuse me, y'all. And I'm actually going to treat those with some neem oil because of the bugs. I hope you'll stay tuned. All right, y'all. So now we have a spot here. And I have ordered some Kajari melons, which are so pretty. They come in all different colors. I only got 10 seeds. I probably will only plant half of them, but I do have a spot here now that I can plant something. So one of the things I am trying to do this year is make the best use of what space I have. I am not an expert gardener. I don't have a humongous garden. What I can say is I have many years experience gardening, and I still have really good successes and really epic fails. So the turnips. Turnips are not a common vegetable for most people. They're absolutely one of my favorites. I love it roasted. So as you can, oh, you can't see. Well, maybe you could see when I was pulling them all up, I decided just to pull them all. I have planted them too close together, and that kind of choked out some. So I had several that did not even have any turnips, so to speak. So the greens and such, I did put in the coop along with some radish greens for the girls, and they'll pick around on them, and when they're done, I'll scoop them out and compost them so it won't go to waste. Now, some people like to cook turnip greens. I have never done that, but I might try because I have so many greens, and obviously the girls can't eat all of that, right? So I apologize in advance because things are a little dirty. I was carrying around this neem oil with my muddy gloves on. So this is a multi-purpose fungicide, insecticide, miticide 3-in-1 product, kills eggs, larvae, and adult stages of insects, prevents fungal attack of plant tissues for organic gardening. So let me see if I can give you any more info. This might be so like stuck together I can't. Well, that's all right. It controls black spot, powdery mildew, rust, spider mites, aphids, whiteflies, and other pests. And all it is neem oil, guys. So it fits in, I think, well with organic gardening. I just don't want to put chemicals on something I'm going to eat. I can go to the store and get that, right? The other thing I have here is, in just a little jar, I have some Nutri-Rich granular fertilizer that is organic. I purchased it from Azure. I'm not going to drag the bag out here because it's really, really heavy. I will share it with you when I go back up to the porch and let you see what that looks like. I'm sure you can buy it other places besides Azure, but I like, it's a good all around, and I can't remember the numbers, so I'll show it to you in just a moment. Yes, hello girlies. They're like, we help you, Mom, which means Mom took the chicken wire down. Maybe we can get in the garden and scratch. They've been really, really good, y'all. I mean, I do have a lot of chicken wire out, and there's a small fence around 3 sides of the garden, but still, they've done really well. They have found things to play with and entertain themselves otherwise. Miss Violet, still broody, guys. I have a broken chicken. I love her so much. I've already made her get out this morning. And she'll get out and she'll run around for 10-15 minutes and she's right back in. So I've been trying to do that twice a day. So what I'm going to do, it is, wait for it, Friday. Sunday is when we're supposed to have the rain. I have a very busy day tomorrow. I have an appointment for myself, and I want to go see my mom and have a good long visit with her. So I'm going to put down granular fertilizer today in anticipation that it's going to rain well on Sunday. I've never had a problem with this burning my plants. You don't want to overdo it, but it's sort of a slow release type thing. So, y'all, there is too much Kym to sit on that little edge, but that's what I do. So let me change the camera around a little bit and I'll take you over here. I want to show you what's going on with my cabbage and broccoli. So I'm showing you here my broccoli, and you see we're starting to make a head here, a head here. Got a big head here, one here, a little bitty one here, and then this one is, I don't see any broccoli yet. But it's coming, guys. It's coming. It just sometimes takes some plants longer than others. What you do see is I've got a little bit of leaf damage, but where there's leaf damage, there is probably going to be produce damage of the actual broccoli. So I'm going to spray these down with neem oil. Here are my cabbages. They are just forming their first head. They're huge, y'all. There's one head in there, and I don't even know if you can see that one. So I'm going to spray everything with neem oil, distribute some of the granular fertilizer, cover it back up because my Kajari melon seeds have not arrived yet. I did order them, and then we'll move on to peppers. All right, as you see, I need to do a little bit of weeding. So one of my tips to really maximize your garden is to weed often, because weeds will rob your vegetables of their growing ability. They take nutrients from the soil, they take nutrients from the plant, they can choke them out. Do I enjoy weeding? No, why no, I do not. However, for me, if I just make an effort on a regular basis to get things cleaned out, it really does make a big difference. And I can't say enough good about all of the wood chips. That has made a huge difference for me as well. So, y'all might be cringing about how close together my peppers are. And I want to share with you. I always do my peppers this close together. When I started the philosophy of square foot gardening, and these are about a foot apart, a little bit more between the rows, it worked out beautifully. Now, by the end of the season, they'll be up to the spinner, way up here, and the entire bed will be quite full. However, I have not found that it decreases my yield. In fact, I find that it has increased my yield. So, for me, it has worked. I doubt you'll find that in a gardening book other than the square foot gardening book. But it actually does work. I have thought about expanding my garden for next year. So this year the 2 front beds are new. They were put in last fall, but it's first I've planted in them. I do like the taller beds rather than these, but these are so nice because you can set on the edge of them. And with my back, I have enough trouble. So having a place to set down really does help me. And yeah, I just throw the weeds in a pile out here and I'll pick them up when I'm done. So what I have here, I think, is another slight fail on my part. I did not label my peppers as I should, so I took a guess, and I think I've done pretty well. The back 3, I know this one I purchased, but the back 3 are sweet peppers, and I think the rest are jalapenos, but I may have some California Wonders in here. I'm really not sure. I know these are definitely jalapenos, but these are starting to look suspiciously like they might be sweet peppers, which is great. You know, all peppers are good. I do like spicy peppers. And some of these have 2 plants in each one. I've done that forever. This is 2, this is 2, that's 2. Okay, looks like they're all 2. And it always comes out fine. And they'll get really tall and bushy, and it works great for me. So let me share with you. This is, again, the Nutri-Rich granular fertilizer. You never want to put it on the leaves, so don't, go from the top, the leaves of the plant. You want to definitely put it at the base of the plant. Now, I used a 1/4 cup for the 6 broccoli and 3 cabbages. This is a 4-ounce jar. And for all of these peppers, I will probably use that much too. So what I'm doing is called top dressing. So this fertilizer, you can, before you plant, you can rake it into your soil just to enrich in your soil. But I'm just top dressing. The actual directions say a pound for every 10-foot row. That's too much ciphering for me. I'm really not math challenged. I'm just like, I've always done it this way. It's always worked just fine. It doesn't smell like roses, but it's not awful. It smells like fertilizer to me. So I like that it is long acting, slow release. And guys, I feed a lot. And I will also say, once you start feeding, you can't quit. Because if you do, your plants will be like, hello, where's our nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which is the primary ingredients. So I'm going to finish pulling the weeds out of this. Then we're going to talk a minute about my herb bed and why I haven't done anything except weed it a little bit. And why I have such a huge herb bed if I don't use all of the mint and the lemon balm. I hope you'll stay tuned. So in this bed, I have for many years had mint. Oh, smells so good. And let's see, lemon balm. Yes, I use the mint in the girls' laying boxes along with lavender, helps them relax. But I can tell you from experience, these are getting ready to flower. Now, I could stand here and pick off every bloom that's about to start and prevent it from flowering. The other thing you can do is you can just harvest it back. Y'all, I have so much preserved, pardon the honkers. I don't need any mint or lemon balm right now, and I have plenty preserved for the girls as well. So I'm gonna let it go ahead and go to flower. What that will do is it will attract all the bees and help pollinate all of these products that I have in my garden, the pumpkins, the cucumbers, the tomatoes, all the things, the butternut squash that have the blooms. It will help to pollinate them, and I should have a better harvest. Once the flowers, and they're tall, some are white, some are sort of purpley. Once the flowers have kind of died back, I will cut everything back, and I will probably get yet a second comeback of all of these beautiful herbs. So I will tell you, mint is extremely invasive, y'all. So be careful where you plant it. Even in this, it will go underneath the edge of the bed and grow in the paths. I harvested a ton out of the paths already this year. All right, let's go ahead and move on to my crazy tomatoes. All right, y'all, have you ever seen such a crazy patch of tomatoes? Well, it appears as if I have grown them. So I'm super proud of my tomatoes because I started them hydroponically, up-potted them or transplanted them into dirt, kept them under the grow lights, etc., until they were ready to plant outdoors. Are they too close together? Well, technically yes. However, I do not have cattle panels. Oops, a little bit for the grass. Therefore, my indeterminate tomatoes, and most of these are indeterminate, not all, which means they will just continue to get taller. They're all in cages, but yeah, they're going to continue to grow and grow and grow and grow. I do have, I think, a couple green tomatoes, but as you see, I have blooms everywhere, guys. All of them are blooming. They're very, very happy. There is a chance, because they are so tightly together, that some of the tomatoes won't ripen as well, in which case my plan B is to transplant them. Now, are they going to be happy about that? Why, no, they are not. But I may have to take out a selective few and put them in another bed, perhaps where I take out the garlic or harvest the carrots or the onions. I do have options. Last year, my tomatoes were this close together, but I only had like 6, I think. And they certainly did not grow like this. So they are very happy. By the way, the fertilizer is 432 with 7% calcium. So nitrogen is always your first number. And I believe then phosphorus, then potassium. So it's a good, well-rounded fertilizer, and I have been very, very happy with it. I was happy with it last year as well. Now, I am not feeding my pumpkins that, but we're going to talk just about pumpkins. So let me finish giving them all something to eat here, and we're going to move down to my very sad bean patch. And I'm going to talk a little bit about it. All right, I hope you'll stay tuned. All right, y'all, welcome to the very sad bean patch. So, y'all, I planted these beans not once, not twice, but 3 times. So these contender beans from Baker Creek have been my favorite style of bean. I did purchase some from the Dollar Tree, and I know a lot of you have great luck with it. I did not. I might have gotten 1 or 2 plants out of it. So I finally just gave up and went back to the contenders. Because I thought they weren't going to come up, you'll see back here a little row of bush peas, sugar snap peas, and a little row up here of sugar snap peas, and those are straight up just for snacking, not for preserving in any way. So I finally did go get a bigger jar. I'm gonna put a little bit of fertilizer down along my beans here. And I wanted to say too, y'all, I follow a lot of channels of people who garden a lot that are much more expert than I. And I have heard, oops, bean problems from everyone. So I am not alone in it. I don't know if last year's beans for sale were poor quality. I don't know, y'all. So let's just finish this up here. A little bit for each plant. And again, I don't want to burn them, so I'm not going crazy with the amount here. Gardening is difficult on your back. I will say that. I do struggle with my back, but I'll save it for closing thoughts. Having a garden this year for me is really, I think, critical looking ahead. So let's go on to sort of a miscellaneous bed here, and I need to go get some more fertilizer, and I'll bring you right back. Maybe. Oh. So this bed has my cucumbers, a volunteer tomato. Let me go up here. Some zinnias over here in the corner, and then these are mid-sized sunflowers that I planted. And you may notice right here and one on the other side, I have planted 2 of the mammoth pumpkins. Now I'm going to save the pumpkins for last so I can share with you a product that I'm using on my pumpkins. If y'all remember last year, I had horrible blossom rot. I'm doing everything I can. Say hello to the people to prevent that. Super pleased about my cucumbers vining, and they found their way to the trellis no problem. So this year I definitely want, I love cucumbers for fresh eating, but I want to make some pickle relish. So I have, and I'm not gonna, okay, truth guys, don't even look, but it's really bad. See my onion bed full of weeds, and then this is a onion that wintered over, that's flowered, so I'll have onion seeds. There's a little bit of unsuccessful asparagus in there. That is what would happen to the bed. If y'all can see all those weeds, like they're so thick, if I did not weed on the regular. Now, because this is just onions, and because it's so far gone, I am gonna wait until I harvest my onions to clean the bed, because it is horrific. I fully admit that. So over here, y'all, I'm not really sure. This is my butternut squash. I'm really pleased. But all of a sudden, y'all see all these little flowers that have popped up? And at first I was like, what are those? And now I'm like, oh, okay, I got a good crop of weeds. So this can get away from you so quickly. And this has been watered well, so it's not bad at all to just use a little rake and go through it. But yes, I need to practice what I preach and keep this water. And I am going to put a light amount, sorry about the truck guys, of fertilizer on all of these. And then right next door, we have our zucchini. So I think you can probably see those. The bed is completely full. It needs a tiny bit of weeding and fertilizing as well. And then we're gonna finish up and we're gonna talk about some pumpkin. So the final area I wanna talk about today is my beautiful pumpkin patch, as well as my loofah. So if you see along the sides here in a line, those are loofah, and I have a few more on the other side. They're very slow growing, but I wanted to give it a try, so we shall see. My pumpkins are doing beautifully. So I've learned a few things after having like some really banner years with pumpkins. I couldn't figure out what the problem was. Number one, you should water your pumpkin at ground level, not spray over the top. That's what causes the, not leaf mold, powdery mildew, and can also lead to blossom rot. I pre-soaked my seeds, especially for the mammoth ones. Some of these were started indoors. This one, for example, was direct sow. The one in the middle was started indoors, and that is the only pie pumpkin. So I did a little research, and y'all, I can link this product below. It's called pumpkin juice. And I was like, you know, that sounds like some type of alcoholic mixture that kids made in college and called hooch. Pumpkin juice, right? And it is 11% nitrogen, 8% phosphate, 5% soluble potash, 0.02% boron, 1% iron, 0.5% manganese, and 0.5% zinc. So it's considered an 11-8-5. So it's really easy to use. You take the lid off, you squeeze it, and it fills this up. And it has the little marks. It is in milliliters, but 30 milliliters is an ounce. And you can mix 1 to 2 ounces with a gallon of water, and water with that. Now, I used, after watering everything first, I used 3 gallons worth on just my pumpkin plants. Because it's kind of pricey, guys. I will share that. So we're gonna see how it likes it. It does say, I believe, every two weeks as well, and that is what the other fertilize says. So I hope you've enjoyed this little garden tour. We are going to wrap it up. I want to show you the 432 or whatever it is fertilizer, but the Nutri-Rich organic fertilizer that I got from Azure. And then I'm going to sign off with some final thoughts about our food supply system and why you might want to consider doing some fall planting or continuously working to expand your garden. I hope you'll stay tuned. The girlies, I'm sorry guys, that's just a part of it. Come here, baby. You want to come and see Mama? It's my Jolene. She's like, you have not held me and kissed my head yet today. All right, guys, I'll see you in a minute. Y'all. So I opened the bag upside down. Actually, the bag was so heavy. It came out of the trunk when I pulled it out upside down, and I'm like, that'll work. So it is 432. It's a high-performance plant food that encourages beneficial microbial growth. And this is what it looks like upside down. One thing I always do is I mark on my calendar when I fertilized last. I could have waited till tomorrow, but I know I'm going to be really busy. And I also like to get fertilizer down while the ground is wet too from my morning watering. So what was I alluding to when I started speaking about thinking about food supply? Y'all, I feel like every day something new comes out about a contaminated food, about animals needing to be culled, because of some disease or contamination. And frankly, y'all, I am astounded at prices. Are y'all astounded? So yesterday I went to Walmart because I needed some wide mouth pints for a project I'm doing. And I wanted a gallon of white vinegar. So in the canning section, so be aware of this, the vinegar was $5.94 a gallon. Guys, I remember buying a gallon of vinegar for 99 cents. That's a squirrel. And if you didn't know, yeah, they go, rah, rah, rah. Over in the baking aisle, the same gallon of vinegar. Now, this was Great Value brand. The other was Mrs. Wages. Same 5% acidity white vinegar was $3.56. and it was $2.94 the last time that I checked it. So yeah, everything is just going up and up and up. The more food that I can produce to feed myself, the better off I'm gonna be. And y'all, just because 2020 is now behind us with all the craziness of the V, does not mean that something else couldn't pop up. And I'm not a fearmonger in any way, shape, or form. But I just wanted to encourage you on the days where you're like, I don't want to weed this garden. It's so messy. Don't worry about it. Just do it. Just get started. Give yourself 10 minutes on it. Work on it 10 minutes a day every day. I do a little bit of weeding every day when I water if I see something, but the big areas, I have to take the time like I did this morning to get things under control. So I'm gonna go wash my turnips. I am going to cook in the sun oven. Y'all, I've been loving the sun oven for my marinated meats. It is so perfect. So I'm going to do one of the salmons today. And in the bottom, I'm gonna put radishes and turnips and an onion, you know, just sort of a roasted vegetable. So I need to get going and get that ready. Usually by, yeah, it's 9:30, so by around 10, I can get the sun oven started. There's enough sun. And I think these ladies are gonna help me. What's the matter, Jolene? What matter? If you all enjoyed today's video, I hope you'll do me a big favor and go ahead and smash that like button. Drop me a comment below. What's your best kept gardening secret that you'd be willing to share to help out all of us gardeners have a better yield? I will see you all a little later this week. Guys, if everything goes right, I have a really fun Throwback Thursday. I just hope it does. With one of my vintage gadgets. And it's going to be fun. So I will see you then. But until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, take care.